Let's create some Christmas crafts using some salvage spindles. Hello everybody and welcome into Emily's Upcycled Home, where I take thrifted and salvage items and create beautiful home decor pieces. For our first project, we are going to bring in this very chippy, beautiful salvage spindle here. We are going to cut this in half and make two stands out of them, or candle holders, or hold a Christmas tree. I haven't decided quite yet, you guys, but I'm first going to go ahead, trim off those ends, and I trimmed off the top, making two separate pieces. Now I want all that chippiness to stay in, so I'm coming in with a DIY clear coat and sealing all that good chippiness that we want for this piece. We're going for a salvage rustic video today using spindles, so I hope you guys enjoy these pieces. For our bases, we are coming in with some very rustic squares here made from fence posts. So if you saw Wednesday's video, we used some of these pieces, so go check that out with the link in the description. Coming in with some Gorilla Glue to attach our posts to our wood squares here, just adding glue to the base of the piece and finding the center of our squares, setting those aside for 24 hours to let dry. Sorry I'm off camera here, but I did come in with my brad nail gun, flip these candle holders over, add a few nails in the base of the piece just to give us some added support and to deepen up and richen up the tone on the base of our candle stands, as well as moving up into the stand itself. I come in with some DIY dark wax, just richening up that wood tone because that wood is very dry and it looked very thirsty to me, you guys. So I'm just gonna richen up that tone and add a little bit of darkness to that piece. Now I decided to drill some holes here for some candle holders. Didn't have the right drill bit, so I'm just trying to make this one work. And you guys, it's not working for me. I'm just twisting around here. I'm gonna have to take a minute and look for that proper bit here. So I found my bits, but this is the only one that was in there, and I think this is called a paddle bit, and I'm just going to go ahead and finish off that hole, just widening in that space. Sorry I was off camera there. And then we're just going to test to see if our candle fits in there, and both candles do. But I decide to go ahead and taper the end of my candle just for a snugger fit, and it goes down into that narrow space in the bottom piece. Now to embellish these, I'm coming in with just some scrap fabric here and a beautiful plaid vintage vibe, or rustic vibe I'm gonna layer up some greenery with some twine. I'm gonna tie that in the knot, and then with my ribbon I'm going to wrap that around the base of my candlestick here, tying that in a knot, and then gathering some more fabric up for a little bow and adding some hot glue to push all that into place, and use twine just to gather that center and hold everything in place. I add back in my candles, and then here's the finished look, you guys. This beautiful rustic salvage candle stands. Now you can also change these out to add some trees in them. I just chose candlesticks here because usually everything gets a tree, so why don't we just switch it up and add some candlesticks. So let me know what you think of this project down in the comments. And if you like my items and want to shop with me, go ahead and follow me over on Facebook Marketplace. For this project, I have so many pieces of these scrap little spindles that I have from other projects, and we are simply just going to use these to make some cute little salvage ornament pieces. With some rustic style fabric here, we are going to embellish our little pieces, adding some ribbon to the top. I'm going to trim the ribbon in half and just simply place the ribbon into the center, or the fabric into the center, using my staple gun to attach everything. Then just tie a simple bow or a knot at the top, and this is going to be our hanger for all of our little ornaments here. Repeating that process for all of the pieces, just tying that knot at the top, and that's where you can hang it on your tree or hang it wherever you would like. All our pieces are now have our little strings at the top, and to embellish these is coming in with a little piece of greenery here, and we are going to cut that to the size we want and add a little bit of green to these pieces. Trimming off any excess I want. I'm getting two pieces out of one little strip here of greenery. going to staple that as well to our piece, leaving these really simple. All I'm going to add here is the greenery to each of these little spindle ornaments. Now, once we had all of our spindles here with each of them with a greenery, I want to darken up the pieces, especially those ends, with some DIY dark wax, and we are just going to age up these pieces, really camouflaging the top ends where that natural wood is, and the bottom, just blending it all of it together, leaving any imperfections in the piece, any paint, anything. You know, these are very rustic pieces. I just like that organic look that each one gives, bringing a different look to each ornament. Now you see the paint ones as well. We left the paint as is, and coming in with the DIY dark wax and adding that on, and then just simply wiping off the excess. And here are our little ornaments, and I did find a tin in my stash as well to put those in. That's probably how I will sell these, but look how adorable these pieces are and how beautiful they will look on a tree. Don't forget, you can shop with me over at Whatnot as well. So spindle pieces can also be used as embellishment parts, and I'm using this spindle, and we are going to embellish a post here. Now this is just that wood board post that I had in my stash, and I'm giving it a light sanding just to clear off some of the splinters and smooth it out just a tad, leaving all that texture and variation in the wood here. With Gorilla Glue, adding that spindle to the center of our wood, adding extra support here with my brad nail guns, just coming in with 1-inch nails and just tapping that into our wood. Once we have this secure here, we'll come in and start painting this up. And I'm going to be using Suffusion milk paint and raw silk because I do want a very distressed, chippy, rustic look. That's our theme for this video, as well as using spindles here. So I'm using milk paint, and that is a 1-to-1 ratio of water to powder, and you just simply mix it up, set it aside for it to thicken up, and then it's ready to use. Now I went ahead and made a little bit more here because I knew what I had here was not enough to complete this project. So if that happens, you just mix in the same amount, 50-50 ratio. Go ahead and stir that back up, let that sit to thicken up, and then I'm going to be coming in with some clear wax here because this wood is very thirsty, so it's going to really soak up that Fusion milk paint. So to give it a little bit more resistance, I come in with that DIY clear wax. And then you guys know, nice and neat here, you want to be as messy and have fun just layering up this milk paint. Drip it, chunky it, layer it very thick, and then come in with that heat gun to build all that texture up. Dry that milk paint in place and start to build that texture layer, crackling, as well as the chipping effect that happens with this Fusion product. I love to use this Fusion raw silk color. It's a beautiful shade, and the milk paint gives you a beautiful look on your project. So if you want to try this out, my affiliate links down in that description. I'm going to finish up all sides of this block here, and this is where I decide to put this chunky piece of salvage sideways and make it a very chunky riser. And for Christmas, I think you just setting a little bottle brush cheese on top of this piece would look really cute, maybe a little stack of books. So we'll see how we style this up at the end here. But once again, you guys, just keep on layering your product, your paint, coming back in with that heat gun and really building up those textures and layers. You see we are getting some chippiness here. With my finger, I'm just wiping that off, and I don't like how much came off, so I go ahead and cover it a little bit more with some of that paint, adding a little bit of heat to it, and then I'm just going to let the rest of it dry naturally so we don't get so much chipping in that area. Now look at all that beautiful texture, all that chipping look, all that aged and distressed look that we just built on this piece. And you guys, we're going to come in with another spindle on this piece, and I'm just going to trim all on those ridges here, making little feet for our little chunky riser here. Now I have 4 little spindle pieces, and we are just going to attach those to the base of our piece. Just smoothing these out with a little bit of sandpaper. That's all you need to just fix them up. Coming in once again with our Gorilla Glue. We're going to use that as our first layer of adhesion here, and then once this kind of settles and dries a little bit, I will be coming back in with 3-inch brad nails, and I will go ahead and add 2 nails to each little foot. I will let this glue dry 24 hours with some weight on it to let that glue have a chance to bond to that wood. With my sandpaper, I'm going to come in and smooth out a little bit of the edges and also clear off some of that flakiness that the paint has achieved here that's just kind of hanging on. And then to seal in all that goodness we created here, we're going to come in with DIY clear wax and our brush and just seal everything in. And if you notice here with that clear wax, it is giving us a little deeper tone and richness in that wood that makes it a little bit more pronounced. And once you get all this layered up, you guys, you want to come back in with your rag, wipe off all the excess. On the bottom here, I will go ahead, secure that one leg and add some little furniture pads. But look how cute and adorable this thick, chunky, chippy riser we created together, you guys. It is a very rustic farmhouse vibe, salvage inspiration, and vintagey vibe here. We decorated up with our little bottle brush tree, a simple little book, and look how cute this little vignette is. If you want to shop any IOD, Fusion, or Dixie Belle products, check out that link in the description. For this project, I am using some scrap spindle pieces here and some cute little bottle brush trees. We're going to make some simple cutie patootie stands. But first, coming in with DIY dark wax here just to layer that up on that wood tone, give it a richer look and a lot of variation in the color tones here. And you just simply wipe on that dark wax and come in with a lint-free rag and wipe off any excess, smoothing out that surface there. With some hot glue, I am going to attach the little bottle brush trees that have that little wood stand on the base, and then just fix and arrange the bottle brush tree how I want here. Repeat that process for the second one as well. And then for embellishment here, I want to continue on with that rustic look that we're going for, but very simple, coming in with some homespun fabric here. I just ripped them apart, a simple bow here, just like you're tying your shoelace, trimming off that extra tails at the end, and repeating that process once again for the second one, and giving this a cute little rustic look here. Now I decided to come in with some bells, but because we have that rustic look, we are going to age these up with some dark wax. And once I have that the way I want, just adding a little dab of hot glue onto our bow and attaching these cute little bells. Now the last thing I thought these pieces needed was some tags here. So once I arrange the bows how I want, I come in with just these simple tags from Amazon. I trim them to the size I want because they're very large here for the project that we have in hand. So we're trimming these up, trimming those edges up as well, and aging up our piece to keep with that rustic theme here. And with a Sharpie, I come in on one tag, write the word joy, and on the second tag, I decide to write the word peace. And once again, you guys, not perfect here, but just giving us a handwritten tag look. I add a little bit of hot glue to the front and then attach that to the ribbon, keeping all that glue away from the project for easy removal. And here they are, you guys, a simple, rustic, almost primitive transformation here for any farmhouse lover, any rustic vibe lover. I just think these will go beautiful on a tier tray, on a stack of books, throwing around your vignettes in places where you just need a little cute Christmas tree to dress up your pieces. Let me know what you think down in the comments of these two little pieces. For more DIY inspiration, give me a follow over on Facebook. For this project, I come in with another spindle here. I am going to come in also with some muslin cloth. We are going to coffee stain that just by dipping that into coffee, letting it set for a while to really get that deep tone to that we want, and then go ahead and squeeze out that coffee and let your muslin cloth dry or not dry. In my case, I'm going to help it a little bit by coming in with my heat gun and adding a little heat to dry the process, to help the process of drying here. But as I work with this piece, you guys remember that the fabric is not dry yet. We'll go ahead and let that dry as we go. I cut my spindle into 2 uneven pieces. I'm going to leave some room at the bottom for our stem, and we are going to build some Christmas trees. First, coming in and making slits in our fabric so we can rip these edges. You can also cut them if you want to. I ripped them because I wanted that frayed edge look and a very weathered, worn, distressed look here. So I continue on stripping that fabric. I lay them all across, and then we're just going to cut those in half. Now, I thought this is how the length I wanted the pieces to be, but then you're going to see me. I go ahead and come in and cut them another way, also making them a little bit shorter. So those strips got cut in half again, and then these are the pieces we are going to layer up into our tree. Now I'm folding each strip in half, and I'm leaving that little end at the bottom for our trunk, and then I'm just going to simply layering up these pieces of fabric, making sure I come in with my hot glue and overlap each piece. Now this is my first one here, so it's a little trial and error, and as I learn the process of what I like and don't like, the process does go a little faster, you guys. So once again, just repeating that step of placing on my glue and placing that piece back onto our little spindle there. And you want to just work your fabric in layers. Now I had to come back in and make a little bit more adjustments here because I put too big of a gap between each layer. So my advice is just to layer one piece on top of the other of each layer. Don't give it such a big gap. And to give it a fuller look here, you see me ripping that fabric again to add just a little bit more fullness to each one of those stems. And I did take my fabric all the way up to the top of the spindle. And for the little piece on the top, I'm coming in with one of these dowel caps that you can find on Amazon. And just with my hot glue, I'm going to place that on the top of our piece. And once I have that on, I will continue on filling the rest of the fabric. And with DIY dark wax, I'm going to stain the top dowel piece and the base of the piece, just bringing in a little bit of a richness to that wood and give it a little more variation in the tones. With my second tree, I come in with some homespun fabric in this vintage style look as well, with some green stripes. I feel the two different styles of fabric as well as that rustic vibe will just complement each other perfectly. For the base, I'm coming in just with these wood rounds I had in my stash. Using hot glue, I'm going to place those in the center just to have me give them a hold while I get my nail gun ready. And I go ahead and put a single nail through both of that wood, come in and dark wax both of these bases, and then wipe off that excess. And then you guys, our cute little trees are done. With some coffee stained ribbon and some homespun fabric, we turned 2 spindles into cute little Christmas tree stands. Layering up all those beautiful fabrics gave it a very rustic farmhouse vibe here, especially with those darkened tones of that wood as well. Let me know what you guys think of these 2 pieces. for today's video. If you like my content, please hit that subscribe button, that like button, and as well as leave me a comment down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, friends.